Coming out to this special evening event. It's wonderful to see all of your faces here. So tonight, first I want to make a quick thank you to Golden Stella, who is the sponsor for this event. So let's give a round of applause for Golden Stella. And before we have our dinner, I'd like to invite Mr. David Kim, who represents Catalyst Coalition and Next Generation Focus, to come up for a prayer before we go into our meal.
Let us pray. Tonight we recognize Mr. Sonny Park for receiving his gift of life and reaping the rewards through faith, stewardship, and service. We step back from our personal preoccupations, and as one generation imparts to the other, may the younger receive in our hearts to reach further. We also rise above our individual identities to remember our roots, so that the echoes of yesterday, of suffering and prayers, may become the voices of tomorrow, of redemption and leadership. So tonight we honor Mr. Park and his generation for pioneering a new land, overcoming its trials, opening opportunities for the children, bridging two worlds to forge the unique character of a Korean American people. And may we play our part in your purposes in ever newer paths. These things we pray in your name. Amen.
Coalition, Sarah Park, gave an appreciation response.
The impact of COVID-19 can be felt in our community, and thank you all for being here tonight. Our prayers and thoughts goes out to those who are affected by COVID-19 all over the world, especially our home country in South Korea. As a Gwinnett County's Board of Commissioners Office employee, I want to assure you all that county's internal task force is up and running, along with 5,000 county employees, including myself, so no remote working yet. County's main focus during this time will be ensuring the essential service to go to our community, and also ensuring our community's safety and health. So again, thank you all for coming here tonight. It's definitely a special evening for us. So back in October of 2019, last year, KC Atlanta hosted KC National Convention with the theme of 2020 Vision, with 300 attendees. During that time, during our convention dinner, Mr. Sonny Park gave us a remark with heartfelt letter as loving father to our generation. That letter, when he read that in Korean, the whole room was filled with tears and appreciation to our parents' generation. That room felt like a healing moment of everyone that was there, through a bond between that can be only understood by immigrant parents and their children. So in return, Casey wanted to write a letter to show how much we appreciate him and also our parents' generation. And we prepared this letter in Korean to get closer to their heart. So here it is. The following is entitled, To Our Parents. I'm going to try my best to hold my tears, so please bear with me. 아버지, 어려서는 휴일도 없이 바쁘시기만 한 부모님 서운도 하고 필요했는데 이제는 모든 일에 바쁘다는 핑계부터 내서 죄송해요. 쉽지 않은 이민 생활 속 부모님과 함께 성장하면서 일찍 어른도 배워야 했지만 때론 부모님은 잘 모르신다라고 생각하고 또 그렇게 하시면 안 된다고 상처드려서 죄송해요. 부모님께서는 저희가 늘 최우선이셨는데 저희도 저희 자신과 미래가 우선이라 죄송합니다. 할 일에 가면서 살림만 찾는데도 힘들다고 인상 찌푸리고 내 상황과 노력은 몰라주신다는 생각에 철없이 굴었던 날들도 기억하지 아니한다 하시겠지만 용서해 주세요. 부모님을 웃고 기쁘게 해드릴 수 있는 내용이 아니고서는 자식으로서 미안한 마음에 대화도 더 꺼내지 못했고 다가가지 못했습니다. 어른이 되었다고 가족도 염려가 되기 시작하고 내 자신도 답답할 때면 속상한 마음만 더 내비친 것 같습니다. 부모님이 신으셨던 신발을 신고 사회로 또 앞으로 나아가야 할 때가 왔을 때 알았습니다. 고국과 가족, 삶의 터전들을 뒤로하고 언어조차 통하지 않는 새로운 나라로의 인인과 정착이 실로 얼마나 어렵고 외로운 결정과 여정이었을지를요. 세월을 살아내신 용기와 희생에 감사합니다. 부모님이 아는 최선의 방법으로 저희를 세상으로부터 보호해 주셨고 키워주셨다는 것과 보고 듣지 못했다고 생각했던 순간에도 온몸과 마음을 다해 사랑해주고 계셨다는 것을 저희가 압니다. 때로는 버거웠던 부모님의 지혜와 우리 가족이 마주해야 했던 선택과 집중의 반복적 훈련이 오늘날 저희가 성장하고 사회의 구성원으로 활동하는 데 중요한 밑거름이 되었습니다. 이 미국에서 다음 세대에게 물려줄 수 있는 가정과 지역 사회의 유산 또한 생겼습니다. 감사합니다. 아버지 어머니가 계셔서 저희도 정말 풍족합니다. 감사합니다. 몸도 마음도 늘 평안히 건강하세요. 저희의 아이들에게도 하나하나 다시 가르쳐 주시고 저희가 하나하나 이루어가는 것 보시며 남은 여생 가까이서 더 많이 웃고 행복하세요. 감사합니다. 사랑합니다.
At this time, I just want to invite up Michael Park, who will make the introduction for Mr. Sunny Park. He's a board member of the Korean American Coalition and past president as well.
Good evening, everyone. Very tough to follow up. I just wanted to, based on some conversations I heard earlier, wanted to clear up something. And I know there's a big 800-pound gorilla in the room tonight. And what that is that Mr. Sunny Park is not my father. I know there's been some confusion. I know we look alike, and my mother's name is also K Park, but yeah. With that, it actually gives me a great privilege to introduce Mr. Sunny Park. I've had the blessing of knowing him for almost 14 years now. And as you can see from his biographies on the table, and obviously from the video from the Georgia Public Policy Foundation, his accomplishments are far too many for me to list up here. I just wanted to take a moment to say that Mr. Park really embodies the American dream. We always talk about it and it sounds cliche, but from beginnings as a humble immigrant to someone who pays $1 million in income taxes. I just think that's unbelievable and an incredible accomplishment. He also believes that those of us in this room, which is why we're gathered here tonight, he believes that we're young and successful, but that we have a duty to serve civically and to give back to our community. Again, as you can see from his list of accomplishments, he has dedicated his life to service for the betterment of others. We organized this evening because we were able to attend the event at the Georgia Public Policy Foundation, but we realized not many of you here know that there is this individual who lives in our community. He's right in our backyard, and he's an incredible resource, a wealth of wisdom and knowledge. So we wanted to just create a space for him to be able to share his story with us and also create some dialogue so that later this evening we'll be able to ask some questions and see. Again, his story starts like many immigrants. It's one of hard work, sacrifice, blood, sweat, and tears, but turned into one of active civic engagement, leadership, and professional success. So with that, the Korean American Coalition and the American Korean Friendship Society has dedicated this evening to a night with Mr. Park, but also to learn how we can become more like him, learn from him, so that future generations may benefit. So would you all join me in welcoming Mr. Sonny Park?
It's an amazing couple. That Sarah, you made me cry. I'm overwhelmed by the listening to your poem, and I am very, very honored to receive the response from our the sons and daughters generation, and I appreciate that opportunity. Kay and I very, very honored to be part of it. Well, this is such a great evening to mingle with winners. There are out there so many people just struggling with what's going on with the coronavirus, and people worried and people avoiding people meeting each other. However, you made it here. Once you made a commitment that you want to be here. There are a few cancellations. They are the dropouts, but you made it, right? Really, you should be very proud of yourself. And I don't want to hang out with the losers. So you're my heroes, and we're one family. That's it. And I appreciate that so much. You guys pay $20 per dish tonight per person. This is actually an $85 dinner. And then Jay Yun stood up and said, I'm going to pay for it. All of them said, no, let them pay. And whoever doesn't want to pay $20, they don't need to be here. Because they're not qualified to be listen to such a, maybe it's a lifetime opportunity to what I'm going to share. I'm going to share about 7 different ideas, advices. If you take it, it's yours. If you don't take it, don't care about it, you're going to lose it. So, I have a quarterback here, everyone's a running back, and watch the ball where it's going. So pay attention, okay? Otherwise, if you don't think you need to be to catch the ball, you have to finish the dinner and the dessert out here, so you can leave. You're free to leave anytime. It really is. So thank you, Jae-yun, for their generosity. I have several things to talk about Jae-yun, but I don't take too much time. But I must say something. Old days, something like 30 years ago, I lived in Atlanta since 1978, and he moved here about early 80. And then in town, there was a small community. And there were a lot of the poor people and the startup business, and a lot of people having suffering that hard time to make a living. And then somebody was several different cases that somebody from Korean community donate the money, but the name was not there. So always somebody, that's all we know. But it's not small money, about $1,000. $1,000 is like over $5,000 a day. and then keep coming. Later, to make it long story short, it was a JUN, and then I want to be friends with them. That's how we got there. I respect him. I've been with the JUN for last over 30 some years, and I treasure the relationship with him and his family. Stella, his wife's not here, but the JUN is such a generous, and I appreciate that. And Mike, thank you for preparing. Mike did such a wonderful job preparing for this event. All you had to do pay $20 and sit here and enjoy. You know, many of you have done it and making name tags and this. I tell you, it's a great job. And Sarah and Eric, I appreciate it. I thought he was 40 years old, but then he's no. When I say the 40 years old, the way how mature he is. But he's not there yet. And he's not even married. So if you find some good girl, it's the man. Thank you. I really mean it. You're the winners, and I appreciate it. They're being my friends. You know, there are several different ways to look at the people. People worry about the stock market fall 500 points down. You know, anybody pay attention to what the stock market doing today? 1,000 points one day. And then I spoke about that today somewhere else, and somebody was on the line and talked to this person and said, "Oh, we had a 1,000 hit today." And then he goes, "Well, we lost to 500 points." That's a loser. The people looking at the gray side, they always be gray side. They're always thinking about how to fall instead of how to stand. Sounds like a pastor, and then it's really big positive. Thank you very much, Pastor Lee, for the good prayer. I want to tell you why I'm here. I got several advices to make and explain my life, some of part of my life. That when I was about age 12, and I was playing with the other friends in Seoul, where I was born, and then we were playing, and then a gentleman in a white dress passing by, total stranger. He just one of the people walking by, and then he stopped and came back, and looked at me and said, "Young man, you're a very trustful person." So I said, "How do you know me?" "Yeah, I'm a trustful person." Anyway, he just walked away. You know what? I'm 77. I still remember that gentleman. Total stranger. I never know his name or nothing. But whatever he got inspired, he come around to my life and say one word. He didn't spend any dime to say that. No energy. He didn't have the breakthrough. He's born to say to somebody. A young man, 12-year-old young man, heard that encouraging words and wow. So later on, don't get me wrong, I'm not a perfect person, but I try to be a trustful person. Because of that, a gentleman, total stranger, told me just one word. I tell you what, he is one of maybe 10,000 people who give me advice. There's so many people give me this advice, that advice, and that made me today Sunny Park. But today you heard that it sounds like a great person, successful. But I am, my wife Kay knows that I'm not half of that, what you think. No, but there's so many people, they help me. So I feel I owe to them who encouraged me, praised me, and guide me, advise me. All those people, I indebted to them. So how to pay back? I don't even know the name. I don't even know where they're at. Paying back. This is the time for me to pay back to you guys. And there was 10,000, if 10,000 people advise me, And I will have to share about either 20,000 people. So I appreciate you, about 55 people here. So my number will keep going up. So I got to make at least 20,000. I got to give advice to about 20,000 people. And I appreciate that. What happened to your life? If you picked up any advice and make most of it, and then you realize that for your life, your success, then what happened? You have to double that up and give advice. So come back, place like this later on, I'm sorry. And then 40,000. That's what you're going to take away tonight. Learn it, utilize it, and then share with others. That's what I'd like to see that happen. And I'll be very happy for my time to come here. So this is an art of networking. If Sonny can, you can. I usually call I can, but then it's you can. And this program is actually I share with my students. I'm the executive in residence at the Georgia State University, and I teach. I give lectures to MBA classes, and I've been doing it about 9 years. And then recently I went to New Jersey. There's an external extension school in Boston University. They heard about it and they invited me over, and then I become regular. This is something that graduate students are really excited about, to inspire about my story. So this is a pretty basic thing, but learned by someone who actually done it. I didn't read a book and then telling you. This is what I experienced. So it's a living lecture, actually. So you can make it yours and then modify it to even better with for your own use. I really wish that to see it, and the only cost you pay for it is to share with others when you're successful, when you become successful. That's what it is. How can you got a point? How can you do that? I'm not bragging, but this is my friends. I'm gonna go for briefly. Number one friend here is a janitor. My title, if you notice, my title is Chief Executive Janitor. I found out myself. I started as a janitor, and then started janitorial service business, and then keep growing. When I got hit the first $6 million revenue, and then my attitude changed, and I found out myself talk differently, and walk differently, act differently, like a not janitor but somebody else. I say, so I'm different. So I walk like this instead of walk like this. And then my attitude become so sucks. So I say, can't do that. So I said, I want to change it. I want to keep my title as the Chief Executive Janitor. Where is Mr. Yoon? Where is he? Where are you, Mr. Yoon? He's gone. Yoon Churchill.
I'm still here.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Stand up here, please. Yoon Churchill was working for my company one time. He's now CPA, as you know him. But actually, he was cleaning. It was his parents, and then cleaning in our company. And when we were so young. Sit down, please.
1995.
Thank you. I don't mean to embarrass you, but so. Yoon Churchill is one of the friends I made in my life. So this is the most important friend. He is a janitor. This man is Steve Forbes, is a Forbes magazine publisher. As you probably know, that George W. Bush, the former president of the United States. This guy I know, you think he paid for your dinner tonight. This is you also saw the video there. This is Senator Perdue, and he was CEO of the Reebok, the shoes, and the Dollar General. He's one of the rare senators that been and served as a Fortune 500 company. And this is Frank Blake. He was the former CEO of Chief Executive Officer of the Home Depot, and now chairman of the board of Delta Airlines. And this is Mr. Portman, the Senator Portman from Ohio. And this is Chick-fil-A founder of True Cafe. And this is John Abram, he's a commanding general right now at the U.S. Forces in Korea. And this is Joe Wilson as my company president. And this is Ron Wall, and he and I have gone for a long time. He's younger than I am, but he's very smarter than I am. And then Morgan State is another relationship I have. This is Nancy Reagan, and they say, "You friend with Nancy Reagan? What are you waiting?" Guess who this? Margaret Thatcher. Yeah, I'll tell you later. And this is the Raymond Davis, General Raymond Davis, the Medal of Honor. He got the Medal of Honor of the chosen Changjin Ho Juntu, but it's actually Chinese word, the chosen reservoir. And he got the Medal of Honor there. And then back here is Larry Ellis. He's a four-star general, the fourth U.S. Army general, black general in the U.S. Army, and he's a partner of one of my businesses today, and he is Baby Bell, the Bolwell Bell. He's a predecessor, former commanding general of U.S. Armed Forces in Korea. And this is Mitch McConnell, the senator from Kentucky, and this is Elaine Chao, the transportation secretary right now. And this Sonny Perdue, he's the agriculture secretary today, and he was a former governor of Georgia. And this is Walter Morgan, and he's inherited the bank. You've probably seen the Brand Banking Company. Who I met as I served at the Georgia Ports Authority, and then become friend, and then I served the board of his bank. This is what's going on. And then, next slide. I'll come back later, how I got to know them. Now, this is not, I don't want to sound like I'll tell you what to do, but I want to explain how I walked. So this is the journey of success, the heroes and valleys. You know, every day you have good days and good bad days. And then I try to remember only good days. I call it hills and valleys. When you climb the mountain, when you see it from the far distance, it's a beautiful mountain comes up. When you get up close, no mountain has a straight up. It's up and hills and valleys. And when people go climb up, it's hard, but you feel good because we make it every day. But every peak has to slope down, and then coming down and go back up. A lot of people, the losers, who are not here today, right? Who canceled out. When they're coming down, the losers will feel helpless. Oh man, I'm dead. So they don't see that opportunity. But in fact, without coming down, there's no other peak, higher peak next. So I see that, you know, when you see the Mountain Everest or any kind of mountain, you can get up there, but you don't want to get up there too quick. You may as well call the helicopter and then let them put you on the top of the peak, and then you're in there. What's that there do? I don't want that. I don't want to call it a success. I got to put the hard work. So, you know, I know some of them don't want to accept that, but without hard work, the success doesn't mean anything. Really mean. So enjoy the hard work. When you climb up there, sweating. When you're going down, watch out. It's another opportunity. Bring it back. Yesterday had a 500 point down, the stock market down, but today is a 1,000 point up. Overall, at the end of the year, you will see a prosperous economy. So people worry. You know, I don't know, there are journalists out there, but journalists usually put the exciting and sensational news and then don't read it too long. Just know the news and that's it. And don't get into it because you're manipulated by somebody who may not know your business. I'm in janitorial service business. I'll tell you, news reporter doesn't know how to clean bathroom. Well, that's what I think. So I want to make sure to let you know there's a lot of peaks, here's and that is out here, and to get you peak. So one day you will say, I enjoy the climbing. Next. Now, this is me as a waiting. You know, I was cleaning the kitchen, and then I got promoted to a waiter. And then this is my trainer. Actually, Mr. Washington helped me to learn how to serve the table and things. And that's the time I was making $1.80 an hour. You heard about the where's the standing? He asked me a question earlier. That was the time while I was making $1.80 an hour. I made a decision set a goal to be a $1 million income tax payer, annual income tax payer. That's what I made a decision that time. How I did it? I wasn't that smart, but I didn't create it, but I was inspired by the magazine. In the steakhouse kitchen, and then my job is a cleaning kitchen at 11 o'clock p.m. to a graveyard shift, and until 7 in the morning. Walk up there and clean all by myself. All the employees are gone, and then I sit there. I go out there, clean kitchen. At break time, there's an old magazine. And one of the magazines that's in the coffee table, and I found a list of the highest taxpayers in the United States. I looked it through as a man making $1.80 an hour, and I see some people paying $4 million tax a year. Some people pay $12 million tax per year. So I said, wow. Would I be ever gonna be like that? No, don't even think about it, right? That's how I have two. There's one Sunny Park, the other. One Sunny Park say, the number two Sunny Park say, can you be there? No, you're not gonna be there. No way. And I've been wrestling with that thing. And then next night, and then another break, I look at it again. It took me a month or two, and then every night, I always was the same page. And then one day, I tear that out page and put it in my pocket, and I studied. We didn't have a Google at that time. I didn't even have a computer. So it was 1974. So you know it. And then I checked around the background of it, Forbes magazine, and checked around, and I found out that these people are same as me. Every one of them, the highest taxpayer, somebody paying $12 million income tax per year. He has 2 eyeballs. He has 10 fingers. I look at myself, I got 10 fingers, 2 ears, 1 tongue, 10 toes, 2 legs. And I said, why not I can do that? Maybe I can even do $24 million taxpayer. And then, no, you can do that. And then the other son, he said, yeah, you can do it. And I've been, the two have been wrestling. And then one day, yeah, I'm going to be $1 million. I'll settle for $1 million taxpayer one day. In fact, I write it down in the memo. And then I forgot what I committed. And then I totally forget about it. And then one day, 17 years later, I was complaining to my CPA and said, it's too much in tax. And I'm paying. I've been complaining about it. They said, why are you so high? And then found out $1 million. That's it. Oh, that was the time I said, I think the other son, he made a mistake or something. And I hit the target. It's $1 million. Finally, I pay $1 million in income tax. And I said, the next thing I was thinking, why didn't I make it $5 million goal instead of $1 million? You know, I'm an ambitious guy and I'm greedy, sometimes greedy. And if I made the goal, I'm a firm believer, if I made a goal to make a $5 million income taxpayer, I would be. I guarantee it. 1 million is large, and 10 million is also large, but it's not much different. It's really possible. But I'm a businessman, so I deal with the numbers. But every one of us, all of you, have a different way to look at it. Not all of you are going to be rich, but succeed is a way to do it. On your occupation, whatever you do, being a top or extraordinary, you know, this is in becoming extraordinary is tough. You really need to commit it hard, because you're going to take a lot of wind. You know, there's a bamboo forest. If you look at the bamboo forest that's out there, they're all equal, same height. They grow together. There's one stem, one of them, or two or three, that the bamboo comes out. You watch, there are a few always come that stands out. That's called what you call outstanding. Take all kind of a wind. However, getting stronger, more wind and take it. So standing, that's the answer. You heard me. I reached the goal. If I didn't reach the goal, I would brag about it. I would bring this page up, and this naturally. And then I was a life insurance salesman. And then talk about what I did as a life insurance salesman. Is there any life insurance salesman here? I was with the New York Life. I was selling life insurance in Indianapolis. I still speaking broken English. My English today, you can tell me, about 70% or 75% good. Those days when I was selling life insurance, I was about 25% good in English. It's just reading and writing was pretty good, but speaking, you know, as a selling life insurance, you gotta talk. And then I didn't sell to the Korean people. There were no Koreans in Indianapolis in 1974, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, there was no one. I mean, there was about 30 Korean American, and they are blue collar, and they can afford the buy life lot of insurance. But I was knocking on the doors, talking to American, Midwesterners out there selling life insurance. Why I say that? I made successful salesmen. I was top salesman at the Indianapolis office, and I became instructor, trainer for new agents in New York Life Insurance Company for Midwest region.
Wow.
You know, it's something to brag about with broken English, and go out there and knocking on doors, and I set up my manual, and then I share that with the other agents. There were over 3,000 agents I trained in that time, 1976, 1977. That's what I did. And I became, and I also ran for president of an insurance agent, the Midwestern region insurance agents, and in the company, New York Life. I was elected. There was 3 guys run, and including myself. 3 others ran, and then campaigned, and I became president. I was elected as a president. You know, why I say that? I don't need to brag here. Jaewoon's not going to give me another scallop, even I brag. But I want to inspire you. I want to stimulate you. If I can do anything to help you to make a good, better, more bold decision to become better leader, I'll do anything. Next slide. All right, there you go. Pay more taxes right there. And this is a day, and I found out, you know, tax return. That's all the package of taxes, and so each package go to different states. And then that was the day. Next slide. Now, this day said, really? Now I'm going to tell you. I'll say something, but how did you do? Next slide. You saw this map earlier, I made this drawing earlier. This is what I did. Sunny, this is kind of I can't see it. I'll draw the sun here. Sunny was born 2 feet, 1,000 families. one application per day. If anyone sell life insurance now or before, you know how that hard. You sell one policy every day. It's tough, but I did it. I'm proud, but one application per day. That's what they kind of cut it off at the copy. I need to build, to feed 1,000 families, I need to build a building to house 1,000 families. This is what this is a note I made in 1975 during the class, training class. My manager inspired me so good. And then, if you do this and do this, and you'll make this much money. And I was sitting and I calculated, he's right. And he's my manager. He's not a stranger, but his manager, he won't exaggerate to me. Whatever he said to me is directly related to his job. So he won't tell me anything different. And I was very seriously listened to him, and I said, next thing I got that, wow, I'm gonna have $2.5 million in the next 10 years. 10 years later, I would have $10 million, $2.5 million in my pocket. And I said, what am I gonna do with it? I don't need $2.5 million to make it. I don't buy a nice car, a nice house, but there's so much money, the more what to do about it. And then agonize. It's a really, really tough job to even figure out how to spend that money. Because I don't feel anything other than what I need. Make a living, shelter, food, clothing. Other than that, it's pretty not belong to me eventually. And then this inspiration. I was inspired by this. I gotta write it down. So there was a note I made during the class. See this goal, the New York Life Insurance Company, this is upper level. When you sell more life insurance policy, you get one of these badges. And then you proudly wear that all the time. And then that was the goal I set. So I suggest, if you make some kind of goal, you may want to write it down. Because it just changes, you know. And when a situation changes, we all, like myself, either forget about it or change your mind. Oh, well, that was a joke. No, we can live our lives a joke. Next slide. Now, there's several ways to get there. Whatever success you mean to you get there. And then you gotta have a roadmap. But you know better than me how to set your own life roadmap. But what I saw the mistakes a lot of people make is go by somebody else's roadmap. Look great, sounds great. You heard from somebody and said, oh, that sounds cool. And then John Kim's, is anybody John Kim? John Kim's map become mine. And then 2 weeks later, I meet Joe Lee, and the Joe Lee's map looks great. So I changed the direction here and there, and then 10 years later, I'm still winding around, going nowhere. You know, 285 here. We have 85, 75, and 285, right? Right there. It's 285. You really have to exit, go to somewhere. If you drive, spend your time, the gas, wear out of your car, and then you don't pay attention to your own life, see what happened? Circle around, 285, all the time. And then what happened? You didn't go anywhere. You still look for that exit. You thought it was there. That doesn't matter. You really have to take an exit and pay attention every day. Stay alert. That's the thing. So there's a several way to get around. You know, somebody want to talk about roadmap. Somebody want to go to 85, and there's a way to go to New York, right? 85 is connected to 95. It could go up there. You get to New York. If your destination is in New York, you gotta take an exit from Doraville. 25, and then from 25 go to 85. But if your destination is Chicago, and then you got to take a 75. Obviously, you know that, I know that. But a lot of people confused. They don't even know how to take that right exit. And then what happens? When you go to take this exit and then go to Chicago, and then found out you made a mistake, you didn't pay attention, you lost the exit, and then come around here at 120. This is important. Pay attention to this. You're listening. Here, got to 120. I got to go this way, but I lost, which is okay. There's nobody perfect, and we all make a mistake, and we learn by the mistakes. And then what I really struggled with, the advice I can give, is 120, I end up here instead of up here. Then what happened? This guy, smart guy, will try to get the shortcut to 75, right? And normally, this is where we go, right? This way and then merge it into 75. No. The answer in life, that's not a right way. Because you're going to miss this much. This gap will always stick around with you. You might have to come back to make it later. So the right way to do work in your life, instead of going that way, play like a dumb, come back where you lost, come back here, and then make it up. And you'll do it again. Up there, somewhere else, you're going to do it again. And same thing. And then you may never get to Chicago, but most of all, you will enjoy to go to Chicago. That's what I think that's the best way to get there. Next slide. Now, this is a very important. I want to explain some of these people, how I met them, why we become they become my friend. Janitor, I really believe that God assigned me to be a janitor. You know, somebody got to do either job. Somebody make a car, somebody make a table, somebody cook in the kitchen, and somebody bring it out, somebody eat, get energized and do something else. Somebody making clothes, somebody making cut my hair, somebody making a microphone, and somebody's using it. And the janitors are a very important component of the world. Without janitors, that the world would be a disaster, not unproductive. I refused to be janitor until age 39. I showed another young man that earlier. What is my goal? I want to go to Chicago. But Chicago is the reason I'm going to Chicago. I want to go to Chicago is because it's cool. My friend's going there, so I'm going to go there too. But actually, I should go to the God. Give me the roadmap when He created me and said, okay, Sonny Park, I'm going to put you right there, and then I'm going to take you to there. And then I don't want to go there. And I've been doing it until the age of 39. And then I found out myself, I gotta go. And then at 39, I wake up and then start cleaning bathroom. You know, I started with only about 30 bathrooms, 30 toilets. And today, 30 toilets every night. Today, my company cleans about 1 million toilets every night. Pretty good? That's how to add it up. Add more toilets every cleaning. So this is the most important type of relationship I have. And Steve Forbes, and I'll share, come back and talk about how important though. And then George W. Bush, and I was campaigning for Ronald Reagan and his father, George Walker Bush. Actually, his father when he was campaigning. And then in Georgia, the Republican was a very, very few, but I was one of them. And then I've been sticking around the Republican Party, many of you know, for a long time, since '79 actually. I came in from Ronald Reagan at Cobb County at that time. And then the President Bush was young, very young, and then it was when we have a meeting with his father involved, and then he was hanging around the back, and then lonely, and then we made a friend, and he became president. So I'm a friend of the president. That's how it goes, right? And then don't wait until make your friends. Don't wait until they actually get there. During the time, the guy heading up, the man heading up to Chicago, meet them somewhere in Nashville, somewhere in Chattanooga, you become forever friend, and then you will have a president as a friend. Anyway, I already talked about J.U., so I'm gonna skip that. And then I gotta take care of him good so he can buy more dinner, right? And I served the Georgia Postal Authority board for 8 years at Savannah, Georgia. And this man, Sonny Perdue, David Perdue's cousin, actually, Sonny Perdue appointed me to the board of Georgia Postal Authority. I became vice chairman there. So it is important to tell you how I got to know Sonny Perdue. Sonny Perdue was a normal senator from Bon Air, Georgia. This is really a boony there. You've got some more senators, but we really didn't care. During the primary, the Republican primary, I was not supporting Sonny Perdue, but Bill Bourne from Cobb County. So he was also running at the primary, and I helped him. And he didn't make it, Sonny Perdue made it, and then he got elected. And then one day he called me and said, "Sonny, I need your help." "Yes, sir, Governor, what can I do?" "And then I want you to serve the Georgia Postal Authority board." "I don't know anything about shit." "Would you listen to me? Just be there. I have an idea how you can serve the state of Georgia." I walked in, and then it was amazing. When I went to China, and went out to Hong Kong, the Asian countries, they couldn't believe the American Postal Authority appoint an Asian American to the board. Because this is a premier board, and then they never see all these shipping lines, all these cargo owners, never met that Asian board member from any postal authority. Tell you, Savannah is grown. When I got there first time, we celebrated 1 million bucks per year. We moved the 1 million bucks. Now, you probably heard the news, we're reaching almost 5 million bucks per year. And then, I'm not taking credit of it, but when I go to China, Asian countries, there's Singapore, Hong Kong, the Korea, the India, Mumbai, these people just can't believe it. Georgia Postal Authority honor the Asian American. That's all I have to do, just show up. And I've been having the wine and dine. And Sonny Perdue was a visionary. He had that idea. So while I was serving Postal Authority board, and then he was my co-board, I was a chairman, vice chairman, and then he was the board member. Now this is Frank Blake. Frank Blake, when he was a chairman of the chief executive officer at the Home Depot, and I didn't know him. He called me, it's only 6 years ago, maybe 7. I didn't know him. He's just way high, and then I didn't have no relation to the Home Depot, but I got a phone call one day. And then, I think I have a slide for that, I'm gonna skip that. And then he introduced that Senator Portman, Ohio, get that. And then I want to jump into here, that the true Cathy. Mr. Cathy is my mentor. He passed away, you know. However, he found the Chick-fil-A, now the world's class company. It's getting to over 3,000 stores around the country. We went to Korea, Asia twice to expand the market. And how about the relationship? When he was a small when the true Mr. Cathy only have 3 restaurants, one in Greenbrier and one at Dorf House in a Hayfield. He had a speaking engagement at Gwinnett County Chamber. In those days, whether the JUN served the board member of Gwinnett County Chamber, but that was 1980, I think it was in 1980. It was very small. Gwinnett County wasn't visible. Anyway, they had an event and I read a newspaper and found out he's going to speak. So I want to go see him. Why I want to go see him? That time he wrote a book called "It's Easier to Succeed Than to Fail." Anybody read that book? It's easier to succeed than to fail. That's it. Easier to succeed than to fail. I want to go see that man. So I walk up there, and about this room size, small, at the Peachy Corners. It was Holiday Inn. And about this size room, but nobody cared about the True Cathy at that time. There were only about a handful of people showed up. That was embarrassing for the chamber, really, really embarrassing. And I was one of them who showed up. And with a staff of half of 6 staffs and 6 guests. That was it. So I said, he was fine. Come around and sit around, and we would have like a town hall meeting. Go sit down. Then obviously I'm an Asian, and one of very few, I was visible. So we chat and I ask questions, and then gone. And then 5 years later, time goes fast, and then Chick-fil-A grown straight up. They're grown up to about 800 stores that time. 1989, the Atlanta Chamber of Commerce select me as a small business person of the year. My company grown, and then it was a eye-catching company. So I was in the future, some of the economy, the news as it here and there. I was selected, and then I didn't even know I was actually. I knew I was a finalist. And the kid I was there, my kids was there, and sit down, and then I was up there at the stage with the 5 other people, and then everyone get the award, and then step down. And I was last. I found out I'm the only one to stand. Am I the winner of the Small Business Person of the Year, 1989? I was. When I got that, I received an award, and then I made the acceptance speech, and then come down the podium. And then there was a line of people. There's about 20, 30 people lined up and want to shake hands with me. I feel like a celebrity, right? And a handshake and going. And then there was another gentleman who walked up, and then when his turn comes up, he walked up to me. He had a book. And Sonny, you remember me? That was a True Cathy. That time he's already big. The True Cathy stand there in line. How humble that he is. And then he gave me the book and said, I know you got one book, but you give that book to somebody else and you keep this book. He wrote a long letter in the book, and then he handed it over to me. And I said, I learned a lot from that man. It's just such a humble thing. And then I asked him, can I call you time to time when I have a question? He said, sure, I'll be there. He sure did. So that's how I made friend with him. And then later, his son and I served at Berry College board together for over 10 years. So I'm a family, become friend. But it's just started very small. Everybody in here, I came from South Korea, as you know, and with no money, and I'm a janitor, a waiter, janitor, life insurance salesman. And then I get to this kind of a connection. So how I made it, that's what I'm trying to explain. John Abram, I'm friend with he's the big brother. How I met him, that's a long story. I know a lot about the soldiers through Korean War veterans. I served the Korean War veterans. You saw the video, and I never forget what they have done to me and my fellow Korean people out there. So I served them. And then I got to know one and another one, and then be friends with a lot of high-ranking officers. And his wife, his brother is also a four-star general, and their father was also a four-star general. And then he's a very smart scientist, and then he developed a tank. So now you see the Abrams tank is after their family name. So that's how I got to know him. And same reason with the B.B. Bell, the General Bell. He actually lived in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And my partner today, Dr. Larry Addis, is a very, very fine gentleman. And then obviously I got to know Mitch McConnell through Elaine Chao when I served. President Bush appointed me to his commission, advisory commission, and then we served together at that time. And then later she served at Labor Department, Labor Secretary, and then we got the friend. You already mentioned about Sonny Perdue here. Now it's the General Raymond Davis. General Raymond Davis is one we all indebted. He's a fellow comrade, fought in Korea. That's why we could enjoy South Korea. As 51 million South Koreans enjoying freedom today. And then, simple as it is, if they didn't come and save us, South Korea, all of us, including all of us, probably, for surely, live like North Korea. What happened? That's what it was. And then, so I served his. The commission to build Korean War Veterans Memorial. He was a chairman of to build the Korean War Veterans Memorial in Washington D.C. Many of you see them. And the General Davis and General Stilwell, who was a commanding general of the Vietnam forces, U.S. forces in Vietnam one time. He passed away. Anyway, they're co-chair and they're raising money. So I was helping him to raise money from Korea and the United States. But that was it. One time I found out, the reason I got so close to him, and I found out he had one Korean person helping him. He was swindling out there outside the community using his name. He was a professor of a school, a college, a very renowned college, and then this man, a Korean man, was actually betraying him by using his name, and he's a gambler, and go out there. One time he used the fake check, what do you call, counterfeit check, and he used his name, and I found out he doesn't know anything about it. So I had to call the authority to arrest him, and then both of them, his wife was a pianist, and then they went to jail. Gwinnett County Jail. Now they left town. I don't know where they are now. But anyway, I saw that. I kind of prevent that. He ended up lost his house. How can any Korean do such a thing to Korean? Hero to save all of us? Could believe it. A lot of Korean people, we have good culture, good custom. Quiet down. And then, no, I don't want to be somebody to call the authority and put somebody in jail. But if we don't do that, we become a community, become a sanctuary for the criminals. And then what happened? When we leave, and that name be inherited to our next generation, in our case, your case, become from the ghetto of a whole bunch of criminals in there. I know I'm over exaggerating, but I couldn't believe it that when this man was actually doing such a thing to him. So at that, and then we become, it's like he became like my father. Our families got together for a long time. And then we still, he's the one who actually found this American Korean Friendship Society. That's the Ambassador Jim Laney and General Davis was a key member on that. And then This is my president of my company. There's a long story, but I'm going to skip that. I'm going to show them detail of it. Skip that. Okay, this is a book. Now, how do you become friends with Margaret Thatcher? Well, I'm not really friend. She passed away, right? But I know her. I met her and dined with her. Okay. Steve Forbes invited me and Kay, my wife, to his yacht, the Highlanders, peachy dark green, 280 feet yacht at Boston Harbor. He brought me and my wife, to the dinner on his yacht. We got up there, walked into the yacht. We wasn't notified. When we walked in there, found out Margaret Thatcher and Nancy Reagan was sitting there. Oh my God. And I asked you, Steve, why are you here? Why I'm here? You need a clean bathroom or something? Really shocked. So he thinks that we fit into that guest list. And I said, I try to be humble, but this is ridiculous. I mean, they did too much. And then you wonder, how you met Steve Forbes? Okay? That's what the question comes to your brain, right? And I made a friend with him. I shouldn't say I made a friend. I become friend with him by this gentleman. He's a nobody like me. I'm friend with him, actually his father, and then they're friend with Steve Forbes. So visited his office in New York, and then we chat. I talk about my story, what you heard, how I become, cleaning company owner, and I was making $1.80 an hour. All that story you already heard tonight. I shared it, and Steve Forbes really loved it. Okay? And then he invited me, and then dined with them. That was the time Nancy Reagan, the President Reagan passed away. That was a tough time. Anyway, so what I'm telling you is it always started small, but it's not so big. Next slide. Now this is you may like it. You remember who I am? What kind of job I have? What's my occupation?
Chief executive. Toilet cleaner.
Toilet cleaner. That's it. When I do toilet cleaning, I try to do a good job. Let me get the water. I try to do a good job. Whatever I do, I want to do a good job. And then my company was cleaning this building. It's about 500,000 square feet at the Northridge exit. It's a Northridge Point, that's what they call the two buildings. This is a rather medium-sized account. But we were doing very good job. And this man was a manager. And this man was an asset manager from Morgan Stanley, New York. And Morgan Stanley owned this building. Morgan Stanley asked his company to manage it. And we, as a cleaning company, we work for him for this building. We make a little profit out of it. You get the picture? Mm-hmm. That relationship. I'm only janitor, but good janitor. And I do a good job. When this man from Morgan Stanley came down to Atlanta while he traveled, they owned about 120 buildings in the country that time. And then he started touring from California, Texas, coming to Georgia. He already seen hundreds of buildings, several buildings visit, and he doesn't check the cleaning much, but they can talk, they can tell that the cleaning quality was good or bad. every time he comes around the building I come in, he was very happy. And consistently, he stopped by twice a year, come in about 5 times, and then he was impressed with the cleaning quality. So persistent. You know, a janitorial service company, service business, easy to get it, but they're hard to keep. That's a janitorial business.